We do finally get to see the video, and it sounds like the only portions that were redacted are like addresses and phone numbers. So I don't think there's like a hidden smoking gun in there. And ultimately what it really comes down to is it's a portion where Twiggs says he asked Tyler himself if he did it, and Tyler says yes. Day 4, and Erica Kirk is in the courtroom. We pick up right where we left off yesterday, still talking about the Twiggs video. The Kirk family lawyer makes a passionate plea for the public to be able to see the video evidence, and I actually agree with him. Show us everything.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jeffrey Nyman on behalf of the Kirk family. The Kirk family's waited 10 months for this hearing. And they have a right to be here, and they have a right to hear the evidence. They have a right to see and feel what's going on in this courtroom. And we understand you have to balance, but at a minimum, this courtroom needs to be open for the evidence to be displayed openly in this courtroom, for them to see it. The Constitution gives them the right to be here and not to see the evidence. What's the point of being here?
The judge then asks how much of 16.1 has actually been published to the public, and it's only pages 8 and 9. But clearly this is a big deal because they have spent a majority of the entire time on this one section of evidence. The defense keeps arguing that this is going to be a confession, or confessions as they call it. Finally, Hot Judge decides we get to see the video, and the prosecution has to go out and show the defense the video, so they take a 10-minute break. And when they come back, the defense still hasn't seen it. So Hot Judge gets super annoyed.
Had the opportunity to show the final edited versions to the defense.
All right. Well, how much time do you need?
You still haven't done it? Nope. That was the point of the break.
10 minutes.
All right. Well, we'll go into
10-minute recess.
well, I want to make sure sufficient time is done to do that. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that we were at this point. We'll be in recess for 10 more minutes.
Look at his face.
Start screenshotting his face, guys.
He's so annoyed.
This guy is not happy.
Work, and also we can inform the bailiff as soon as we're done if it's ahead of that time.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. I thought we were ready to proceed.
He pulled everybody in too, the whole public and everything.
But all at the same time, keep this hearing moving forward. So court is in.
He's so annoyed. Oh my God! Look at.
They go on to discuss the Discord messages, but don't let the public hear or see. Then they discuss the letter under the keyboard referenced in the text messages. And that's it. That's all we're going to get from the prosecution for the prelims. The remainder of today and tomorrow will be what the defense has to bring to the table. After the lunch break, we pick back up with a witness we've seen previously, the one that oversaw the crime scene. Now we're going to cover a few pieces of interesting information I think came out during the prelims. The slope from the perch to the tent was 415 feet in distance. Fingerprints and palm print were taken from a window near where the individual landed after jumping off the rooftop. Only 3 of the fingerprints were of good value, and Tyler Robinson was excluded as the source of the prints. They go over finding the towel and the rifle in the woods, and then they clarify that a shell casing from a bolt action would not eject, it would stay in the gun. So what they're saying is that they found a used .30-06 still in the gun, and 3 other bullets that were engraved. The investigators then go on to collect the Dremel that was used to engrave the bullets from Robinson and Twiggs' home. And while they're there, they find more .30-06 bullets and a few other things, which we'll get into. So they collect the Dremel and the bullets, and they send them for testing. They also found 3 shooting targets in Tyler Robinson's closet. They show these targets, images of these targets, to demonstrate Tyler's shooting accuracy or inaccuracy, depends on how you look at it.
Perforations in those, are those consistent with bullet holes?
Yes.
And I would ask you to describe where those perforations are there's 3 targets here, right?
Yes.
Let's look at the far right target first. Where are the perforations in relation to the bullseye?
They're all probably within the 7, 6, and 8 ring.
Is there a perforation up at the upper left-hand corner of that rightmost target?
Yes, there is.
Do any of those hit the bullseye?
No.
Okay, looking at the center target, will you describe where the perforations are in relation to the bullseye there?
It's closer, but still not it. Most of them are to the left of the bullseye in rings, let's say 9 and 8.
right? And then the leftmost target, we describe where the perforations are there.
Yep. The perforations are actually closer to the bullseye as well, actually one being in it.
They show us the burnt note from under the keyboard, stating that there's handwriting still left on the burnt portion. Then they show an image of the picture taken of the letter, and I'm sure we're going to get into like handwriting comparison at some point if this goes to trial. The fired bullet fragments from Charlie either couldn't be tested, or when they were tested, it came back inconclusive, which is going to be a huge portion of the case later. The witness states that they were able to link the Dremel to the engraved bullets. I don't know exactly how that works, but that's the claim. Then the prosecution comes back, and they're talking about the handprint on the glass again, down where the person landed, Tyler or the person, whoever. And they make it a point to say, after watching footage at UVU, they could determine it was not Tyler who touched the glass. So I don't understand why the whole previous portion was even brought up. After break, defense comes back for cross. Nothing really interesting happens, but then Hot Judge lays down the law again. My favorite.
Thank you, Mr. Bird.
Thank you.
Briefly, and I say that because time is of the essence, not because I don't want to hear what you have to say.
He doesn't.
I understand, but there was a lot that was just said that's just not true.
So
Oh.
let me put this in this spot where we need to be. I understand that there's opinions, but I have to keep this to the probable cause. I don't want this to go to a back and forth issues that lie outside of probable cause. And I realize statements are made, and as the victim's representative attorney, you want to address it. So I will hear you, but we need to be brief. So if you can be succinct, I definitely want to hear what you have to say.
Defense's witness is the ATF tester. She's the person who tested the bullets. Prosecution objects to letting this in, but Hot Judge lets it in anyway. Then the courtroom feed cuts out, and when the courtroom feed finally comes back in, Hot Judge is basically laying into the defense and saying, get to the point. He keeps reminding defense that this is a probable cause hearing, and at this point it kind of seems like they're going into more trial territory. Then, this is a whole saga in itself. The defense starts going into the bullet fragments. They're looking at like the comparisons. This report has already been considered inconclusive, so this actually helps the defense. But the defense is trying to prove areas of disagreement as opposed to areas of agreement on the report, even though the report's inconclusive, just to make that clear. He then goes hard at his own witness for only taking one proficiency test in her entire career, and is trying to take down the entire bullet examining process as a whole. What I have to assume he's doing, and what I think he was getting at, is I think he was trying to get her to either prove or admit that it should have been a fail instead of an inconclusive report. At this point, I don't even know if I think the defense is doing a good job. But then the prosecution comes up and they make a fumble as well, asking how many other guns could have fired the bullet and if the report they had was an all-inclusive list. The witness says no, and that's when the prosecutor realizes that doesn't help his case. So he shuts off line of questioning right then and there. I don't know what these lawyers are doing on either side, but they both had pretty big fumbles today, in my opinion. They do at the end discuss briefing and bind over, which I have no idea about, but Tyler Robinson does waive his right to a speedy trial. But I also know Erica at one point asserted her right to a speedy trial. So I don't know the process from tomorrow and once the judge decides like if they do or do not go to court. But based on what I heard, I'm assuming something happens in between that time. And they were trying to schedule when court would start if they decide court's going to start. Which obviously court's going to start.
What time did you get up on September 10th?
Probably like 12 to 1 p.m.
You didn't have to work that day?
No.
And did you hear from Tyler? Did he call or text you before then?
No, he sent that message in the group chat I mentioned, but he didn't message me directly at all that day.
Okay. When did you first hear from him on September 10th?
It was at 11 o'clock with that like automated message.
Okay, 11 p.m.
Yeah.
He asks you here, remember how I was engraving bullets? Was he engraving bullets before this?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly when, but he had said he was planning to go hunting with his family. And he asked me for if we had a Dremel because he said he wanted to engrave messages on bullets. And I just told him where Dremel was, and told him to make sure he doesn't like set off a bullet on accident in the house. But I didn't really think about it until then.
How long before September 10th was this that he asked about the Dremel?
I don't remember because he'd been talking about the hunting/camping trip for a couple months, but I don't remember when he was specifically asking to engrave the bullets. So
are we talking like a year before?
oh no, not that long. It would have been I'd say at most a month before this was when he was asking.
Talked about the note that he left. I want to bring this up, and I should say that these text messages that we've been looking at here are Bates number 54. Okay, the notes have been titled 16.3 with a note, and this is Bates number 58. Do you recognize that on the screen there?
Yeah.
What do you recognize it as?
That was the note under his keyboard that he was referring to in the first text of that chain.
Okay, so where did you find this?
On his desk underneath his computer keyboard.
I assume you read it.
Yeah.
And then what did you do with it after you read it?
I believe I just put it back down on the desk after I took a picture of it.
Okay. And again, the time you read it was probably around 11 o'clock or so on the 10th.
Yes.
The night of September 10th.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And did you ever see that again after you placed it back on his desk?
No, I don't think I did.
And that was a desk in his bedroom?
Yes.
And that's a separate bedroom than your bedroom?
Yeah.
And now I want to go to what's been titled 16.2. And do you recognize this series of messages here?
Yeah, that was the server of like his friend that I was mentioning.
Okay, and this is your phone again?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming you recognize it because the big crack up at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is a server. Is this Discord?
Yeah, this is Discord.
And who are members of this server? I don't want names, just generally, who are these people?
This is his friend group. They play D&D together every week.
Okay. And I just want to scroll through this to make sure that you get a chance to take a look at it. Or go to the next page.
Mm-hmm. Or yes.
So Tyler Icom, who's that?
That's Tyler Robinson.
And these other people are just others that are members of the server.
Yes.
Jug, Barnaby, Marina, DM.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, DM means Dungeon Master. So this is these are like most of them are names they're using in the game they're playing currently.
Got it. Yeah, it looks like the last text from Tyler looks like it's 8 p.m. And do you know what day this would have been? 8 p.m. on the 10th or the 11th?
I would think that would be the 11th. Because at least I think so, because I don't think on the 10th that he messaged anyone before me at like 11. So.
And he turned himself in on the 11th, right?
I thought so, yeah.
Okay. We're just going to go through this so that we have a record of the messages. Is that an accurate recording of that thread?
To my knowledge, yes.
And that was sent, looks like between September 10th and September 12th. Looks like the last day on this is September 12th screen.
Yes.
So again, those messages covered from September 10th to the evening of September 11th. Now, September 11th, what time did you see Tyler on September 11th?
Yes.
When did you first see him on September 11th? So this is the day after the shooting.
Yeah, I saw him when I woke up.
What?
Like I said, he was up and around doing a lot of stuff around the house. And then I think I saw him after that message where I said I'll come home and say I'm doing laundry, because I didn't want him going to my parents' house right then when he said there was probably cops outside. So I went back home and it was just him there, and I said bye to him, and then he drove off. So I just went back to my parents' house.
So
A
he
Freudian
acted
slip.
erratically. Was he pacing? Was he just sitting down, relaxing?
No, he was walking around a lot.
And that's within the home.
Mm-hmm.
And did he talk about what he had done?
Didn't go into detail. I just asked him in person if what he said was true the night before, and he said it was. He started crying a little bit and said he wishes he hadn't done it. And then kept going around and just doing stuff, I think, to keep himself busy or distracted or something.
Okay. Did he talk about what he was going to do next?
And then eventually said that he would talk to his parents or turn himself over.
Okay. And when you left, was that how you left, understanding that he was going to turn himself in or go to his parents' house?
Yeah, and I didn't really want to be at our apartment while any of that was happening, regardless of what went down.
Before he came home, had you seen the press releases, any of the media on this?
I'd seen one Instagram link a friend of mine had sent in our group chat,
Okay.
but I hadn't really looked into it at all.
And had you seen the images that were released of the suspect?
I did the next day. I don't think I saw any on the 10th.
I'm going to show you a couple of those images. This is some press release about this event. And here on the screen, you see these, looks like there's 2 rows of 3 images.
Mm-hmm.
Do you recognize the person in these images?
I wouldn't say it with 100% certainty just because of camera quality, but that looks like him in terms of the shoes he's wearing, the sunglasses. I don't think I'd specifically seen him wearing that hat, but he was usually wearing a hat, and then jeans. So it definitely, especially the last 2, definitely do look like him. Oh, they do look like Tyler Robinson.
And you talked about that with your friends, right? This looks like him.
Yeah, his friends. Yeah, I don't know if I don't remember if I talked about it with any of my friends. And then since I didn't have my phone after that for a while, and I still am not using social media, I don't know on my friends' end.
Okay.
Just like
all right,
Michael
I wanna back
Crooks.
up a little bit now.
Just doesn't use social media.
But let me get a little bit of context here. So, did you game with Tyler?
Yeah.
What kind of games?
Played some just kind of party games together, like anything that would be multiplayer with a group of friends. There was one game he really liked called Sea of Thieves, where you play as like a pirate, and you can fight against people, but most of it's just like fishing, fighting sharks, skeletons kind of stuff. We played some co-op games where it's like you both have to work together to win in whatever way. Way back when I was just out of high school, when I first knew him online, we played some shooting games together, but I didn't know him very well, so that was just when we had a full friend group on to play, and he was someone that my friends invited.
Okay. Did you and he ever talk about politics?
He did more than me. I don't really keep up with politics very much. He'd usually talk about stuff he heard on the radio on his drive to work in their work car, since it sounds like their whole crew went in the same car most of the time. But I wouldn't say super consistently, because it wasn't a topic I really contributed much on.
What about Charlie Kirk? Did you ever talk about Charlie Kirk?
I personally had never heard him talk about Charlie Kirk before specifically.
Okay. How about political issues? So did you ever talk about gender identity issues and LGBTQ rights?
No, not really. Usually if he did talk about politics stuff, it was relating to Trump or current policies being issued or voted on, I think. But yeah,
So before that, you had been.
for a short time, yes.
And I understand you're going by Luna at some point.
To some people, yeah, but not as an overall thing.
I think that's all the questions I have for this portion. Let me check and see if I've missed anything. The Dremel that you talked about, you said he had asked for that, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And had he told you it was to inscribe bullets?
Yeah.
And so did you have a Dremel then?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was in our, our apartment, we had a section where we kept all our random tools for household stuff, in our lower basement level pantry. So yeah.
Okay. And did you give that to him or tell him where it was?
I just told him where it was, yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and end the recording for the 1102 purposes.